Everyone on the marketplace have projections on 100,000 Bitcoin this cycle, 120,000 Bitcoin this cycle, and you should be taking profits after that. They are all wrong. They're being led by their PTSD of the last cycle. In this video, I will explain with facts why we are going to 700,000 Bitcoin this cycle. At least not 120k. Way more. Way larger. And all these people with this mind frame at this stage, if they will be taking profits by then, they would be re-entering way higher. Please note, I'm saying this right now when Bitcoin is at $70,000. I'm telling you, we will have a 10x on Bitcoin this cycle and a global major war after that where a lot of you are going to die, right? And I will also tell you about several narratives that should be performing very, very well this cycle, all right? Providing you with a list of altcoins, with a list of fresh, great altcoins that VCs are not going to dump on you, that you can buy, be safe in the market, right? And make some money, because Memecoins are not for the serious investors, right? Why Bitcoin is going to 700k and you can do nothing about it? 120k Bitcoin my ass. This is the title of this presentation. Structure. Why Bitcoin was correcting 40 to 60% and it will not be happening this cycle? What are the counterparts battling this time versus the counterparts of the last cycle? Geeks on leverage. Supply shock and price correlation. Weakness of the last cycle. PTSD of last cycle participants. And I will also add something else. Mid-curving the market and mid-curve market peaks for enormous gains not being dumped by VCs. That's something that we will discuss as well. Moving forward. Why Bitcoin was correcting 40 to 60% last cycle. Not only last cycle but previous one as well. Here is my Bitget, right? My Pepe loan is doing quite nice, $220,000 in profit. And I also had done 11k in profit on Dogecoin loan. I was not entering with large margin, but let's see how this thing will be doing closer to the end of April, right? I want to specifically focus on the chart of Bitcoin, right? Chart of Bitcoin currently 70k and of the previous cycle. If you would check out the corrections from the previous cycle, we could see that how much? 30%, right? We can see here that this seems like a large correction. How much? 25%. What are these corrections? Why they're so low? Here, 27. So even here, they were not that severe. And this one was how much? 51%, right? But then we had this second top. Let me explain the reason why we had larger corrections in the previous cycles. Why some of them actually were more than 30%, more than 40%. In the first place, because the whole thing had way less liquidity. Therefore, people were treating this market more as a meme coin. They were afraid, they were selling, they did not believe, because belief is the only thing that keeps the price of Bitcoin at the same levels, right? One other interesting thing that we had in the previous cycles pretty much had Bitcoin whales. They saw that we are close to the top. They were calling their buddies, SBF and CZ, and asking, hey, how many loans do you have opened at this stage? How much money will actually make if we liquidate all these loans? All right, so let's do this. Let's open up a giant short. I will dump a bunch of my Bitcoin on the market. We will liquidate these funds and we will split the profits. Does this work for you? All right, SBF, CZ, thank you. Let's do this. They were doing it multiple times. FTX itself is proven to trade against the users on the exchange. All this stuff, it was happening so much time, so many times that you are basically opening a giant loan, right? And you have your liquidation price somewhere there. And on your specific exchange, the price of the asset specifically goes down to the level where you have your liquidation, just to surge back right after that. It was happening only on your specific exchange, where you basically have this giant loan positioned open. On other exchanges, it was not like that, because all of these exchanges, they usually and always were trading against the users on the platform. And you might say exchanges are not making money because they have liquidity providers. Bullshit. There are options and there are actually ways for them to make money. They're not only making money from the commissions. Are you stupid? They have algorithms on the exchange when a new trader joins and the exchange sees and recognizes that the orders of this guy are unsuccessful, that he's losing money, he's getting liquidated a lot, what they start to actually do, they start to request liquidity from liquidity provider for this guy to open the orders. They provide liquidity themselves to liquidate the guy themselves and take his money themselves, because following the algorithm they saw that most of the time he's actually losing his trades. That's why they're making so much money. It's not just about the commissions in the first place. And none of them would actually tell you that they're making money from these things. They will always tell you that they're only making money from the commissions, right? Main thesis why they are not doing this currently, or most likely won't be doing this at the same extent, at least reputable exchanges, where you basically need to comply with KYC and things like that. Because SBF is in jail, because CZ is under arrest, because regulation is coming, because most likely futures trading options on current centralized exchanges would be closed at a certain time by SEC and by regulators as well. Bitcoin was correcting 40 to 60% last cycle because robbers were robbing. They can't rob now because they're in jail and other robbers afraid. If you're robbing currently, you should be afraid because there is a high chance you will end up in jail as well. Some things about SBF that are quite exciting as well. All Sam had to do was nothing. Just don't steal anything and he'd be the richest young person in the world. Absolutely bonkers. He was making billions a year collecting trading fees. Dude literally fumbled the bag. This is a lesson that all of us should actually understand and figure out. Don't fumble your bag. You are sitting in the winner. You got into your winner early. Don't sell, just sit. If the asset is showing strengths at this stage of the cycle, where Bitcoin is still yet to do 10x's from these levels, don't rotate, don't sell your assets. Just look for ways on how you can acquire more of these assets. Sell your losers, buy more of your winners. Don't fumble your bag. This is the real psychology lesson of the bull market. Same thing happened with SBF. It's psychology in the first place, it's nothing else. That's the reason why people were losing hundreds of millions of dollars in Luna crash. It's only psychology, it's not about Luna. If it was not for Luna, they would find the ways to lose them somehow else. I was doing this in my life bunch of times already. When you are making the amount of money that is uncomfortable to you, you're looking to get rid of this money because you don't like some things. You think that you're becoming lazy. It's just too much stress, right? And you are self-sabotaging yourself. You start to enter self-destructive behaviors because initially, subconsciously, you think that you do not deserve this money. You do not deserve this upgrade in your lifestyle. Alpha tip on this thing: give some of the money to charity. Give some of the money to your family. Give some of the money to people who actually need these funds. Charity actually was introduced as a psychology mind game, to make sure that when you make a large amount of money, you're giving something away and now you're comfortable. Now you understand that you can hold this money. All the criminals in Russia after 90s, killing hundreds of people, they started to build churches. Most of the churches in Russia are built with the money provided by criminals. And this way they're accepting the funds. This way they are getting back the calm of the mind. Learn from criminals in Russia in the 90s, right? Don't fumble your bags. This is pure psychology thing in the first place. Moving forward, counterparts this time. US dying economy with constant inflation, the whole world is printing money as well, versus couple internet geeks that got lucky. You have to understand who is battling currently, who is actually pumping and dumping the price of Bitcoin down. That's also one thing why I don't think we will be having large corrections this cycle, especially the later we will go into the cycle. Maybe right now still, because internet geeks that got lucky, they're still a bit in control. But the more boomers would actually start to enter this whole market, the less the volatility would become. And these geeks, they would start being in control. People that got lucky, that have billions in Bitcoin currently, that were calling their body SBF, like, hey, let's open the short up and let's liquidate all this money and let's split. They can't do that now because they're afraid, because their body is in jail at this stage. And actually, most of Bitcoin holders, like large Bitcoin holders who went public, who said, yes, I am a large Bitcoin holder. You know what happened with them? They're dead. This cycle, what we have on one hand is US economy, right? with all the pension funds, with all the companies, with all the people feeling FOMO and buying into the asset. On the other hand, we have internet geeks who were early, who are still afraid, with PTSDs from last cycles, taking profits. Can they do something? I don't think they can. I think they will be selling at 100, 120, 150k Bitcoin thinking, oh, I'm so great, I'm so nice, I made so much money. They will be making so much money. They will be selling because they would think that, wow, I made so much money already, all right? Just to see that the whole thing is surging back up, back higher. And some of them would actually FOMO in back, maybe even losing some of the funds. Because lessons that you learn in certain cycles, often they don't apply in the cycles moving forward, especially if you have a change of conditions like we have currently with all the ETF, with the World War III coming, with the US election, with all the geopolitical situation, with the change of the world order, with all the chaos that's coming to us. But chaos is the ladder, right? Moving forward, supply shock and price correlation. If the asset is scarce and everyone wants it, seller can set any price. People in cities during sieges were selling food at the price of gold. If you have something that everyone wants and there is no one to sell it except you, you set whatever the price you want. This is also quite easy to understand. We have record low supply of Bitcoin on the exchanges. We have ETFs buying crazy amounts of Bitcoins on a daily basis, way larger than the amount that is produced currently. And we will have the halving, which would essentially divide in 2 times. We will have 2 times smaller amount of Bitcoin produced on a daily basis. In a supply shock, the price of the asset would just go parabolic because no one would essentially have the asset. And this is something that I think market is actually not pricing in a bunch of stuff. Imagine how well the elites are playing their game, that all these people in this market from 2013, 15, 17, they are sure in BTC only reaching 120k this cycle, and they are sure that they should be taking profits. Imagine what type of psychological misinformation operation is actually going on. We're being fed with the news about inflation, about everything going down and things like that, and the whole reason for that is to make sure that we won't be buying. The main reason for that is to make sure that they will have the smaller amount of people in the asset as only possible when they will be pumping this thing up. And once they will be pumping this thing up, they will take a bunch of money off retail, they will cash out like crazy because they're preparing for war. And then they will be losing this money on war, making sure that they are acquiring more power in the countries, in the cities. Do you see the full picture? Do you see how easy it is, and do you see how easy it is for them to actually be playing out all this operation? And all these people saying that 120k, I'm taking profits, right? Take profits 120k just to form a back in at 500k, right? Broaden your mind and see what might be happening and what is happening currently. You have to see it. You have to understand these things. You have to play accordingly. You have to make sure you will not be dying in upcoming 8 years. There is quite a chance that this might be happening. Summing up, if the asset is scarce and if everyone wants to buy this asset from you, you can set the price that you want. You will always have the buyer. Market underestimates supply shock, market underestimates ETFs, market underestimates a bunch of shit. And you know what's interesting is that these people, they have longer projections. They basically project things not for like 1 year ahead, 2 years ahead, 10 years ahead. They can be projecting stuff for 10, 15, 20 years, right? And last cycle might have been an operation to actually create all this PTSD. So all these roopers, all these people will be screaming currently that 120k will be the top, just to make sure you won't be buying, just to make sure that you will be selling after your 2x, right? Just to make sure you won't be holding, because they don't want random people in the rocket. They want to push it very, very high. They want to invite retail to buy. They want to rob retail and send retail to war after that to die. Last cycle was weak. It is confirmed by a bunch of analysts. Raoul Pal, that all your fundamental guys respect, right, was saying that we should have had our third leg in the last cycle. You might think why we didn't have it, right? People have PTSD from the last cycle despite the fact it was so weak. Last cycle learned behaviors make zero sense right now. Different behavior need to be applied in correlation with the current situation. Boomers buying your crypto shitcoins with zero utility. Do you understand it? Who are the best gamblers in the world? If you only have like 2 years to live, 5 years to live, and you have millions of dollars in your bank account, won't you gamble? Gambling is one of the greatest things out there. One of the things that is actually capable of providing you with the dopamine on the long-term enough time frame, right? There are things like work. Why everyone is working? Because work is actually capable to provide you with dopamine over a long period of time. But work is a longer term satisfaction, right? You are not getting satisfaction from work right away. With gambling, you are getting satisfaction right away. Go to casinos. Go check out who is playing casinos. Boomers with a bunch of money that don't have much time left to live on this earth. This is the best thing to actually do, just to sit there and gamble and drink alcohol. That's like best life that you can only have as a boomer. And right now, this cycle, all these guys with all the millions of dollars, they will be entering these assets. Imagine the comparison. Last cycle we had geeks on leverage, pumping up the market. This cycle we have US economy and a bunch of rich US boomers getting into your shitcoins, buying your zero utility scam vaporware tokens. You're not bullish. You're planning to take profits on 120k, right? Nice. Lessons learned in the previous market are not applied in the current market because it's different this time. Because the conditions actually changed. Because you need to see the bigger picture. You need to understand what is actually happening in the world and what are they preparing to. I actually have something to share from Alex Becker as well, because I do like the guy very, very much. Friendly reminder, besides not fumbling your bags, your second goal should be obtaining multiple passports. Your second goal should be obtaining multiple passports and residencies before the election. Both are equally important to your freedom. I have 1 passport and 2 residencies. Even here, I'm so ahead of the game because I'm from a region where the whole shit started way sooner than it would essentially be starting in the whole world. Because I understand languages, because I know stuff, because I look after what people actually have to say and what are they saying and what does it actually mean, the things that they are saying, right? If everyone is expecting a shit show, most likely is going to happen. Moving forward, PTSD of last cycle participants screws up with them. I'm not using this language here because I think YouTube does not push videos that well if I'm actually using it. PTSD free people are making most of the money in the market. They just don't keep it quite often. So if you know a friend of yours who's just like crazy, he's dumb. Let's say he's dumb. And there were a bunch of people last cycle. I would actually show you an example a bit later in the video. Smart people who invest into fundamental projects in technology, and they have like their junkie friend like Chad, right? Chad is coming to the market. Chad is buying a Memecoin. And other guy, he's reading white papers like 10 times a day. He's reading 20 white papers on 20 projects. He's researching Bitcoin, DeFi, parallelized TVMs. This guy comes, he buys the picture of the cat. He's making more money than the first guy made in a whole year. In the whole 10 years that the first guy is geeking on the crypto market. You have to be dumb in the bull market. You have to be risk on as well. There will be a bunch of people who would be coming into this market later than you, making more money than you, and actually taking more money than you back as well. We have to understand what type of people this would be. You might say, oh, like pure luck, right? Luck is the result of actions. What type of actions these people would be doing? What type of traits these people actually have? This is a very important. I will share a bit later on this in the video as well, right? Remove your PTSD and vividly see when someone is talking out of his last cycle PTSD. If you're watching someone and you see that he's talking and it's not himself talking, it's his last cycle PTSD talking, right? You need to vividly understand this. You need to vividly see these things. I do believe that right now all the bearish content should be removed. Just unsubscribe from everyone who is the bear at this stage. And another advice might be unsubscribe from anyone who is talking to you about 120k Bitcoin this cycle and taking profits, right? But it's still a bit controversial. And I can say myself that I would most likely be taking profits as well at 120k as well. I just want to break even from all the money that I put into crypto over the last several years. Just to be safe from that point of view, although I do understand that it's an ideal scenario, in this scenario of pure outperformance of the market, you buy your bags of blue chip meme coins, you hold till 700k, and a bit later, because alt season and meme season is usually a bit later, and then you sell and you outperform. Dead people are the best investors out there, because if you're dead, you can't sell on the correction, because you don't think that, oh, we will have a recession, right? We will have something bad happening. I will be taking profits 120k Bitcoin, right? Because you're dead. Things are different this time. We have US economy pumping our backs on the edge of the World War III and changing world order. Very exciting times we live in. Maybe there is a reason you're actually living through this time, right? Maybe it's not. This is the best opportunity in your life if you will not die in upcoming 8 years. I'm talking a lot about this in this video and it's all jokes and things like that, but I do really think so. I do really mean things that I am saying and sharing in this video as well. I do feel interesting things are happening in the world right now. It's so exciting to me. It's so exciting to see them unleashing. It's so exciting for me to understand specifically what is happening. So crazy. It's like, I don't know, it's like playing a strategy game and you're close to the person who is actually playing it. So it's like playing a strategy game and understanding that you are in the strategy game, right? That I would say is the best analogy. We all still live in simulation, right? Because if civilization would essentially sustain for thousands of years, we would figure out anyway how to create simulations close to ours. It's not the best one, right? It's probably not the worst one as well. Maybe we're just a form of AI, of some civilization, right? Moving forward. Well, these are all of the things that I wanted to mention on the Bitcoin 700k of this cycle. You have to be very, very cautious with these things. And important note to make here is, despite the fact I'm saying all this, I'm not trying to block you from taking profits at these levels, because you have to understand that a lot of people, they would essentially be taking profits at that levels. And you probably would want to take some profits as well, along with them, just because of the fact that in general, no one knows what to happen. Although I do think that this video will be aging very, very well, because you also have to understand how the market works. Because the reason that market is going down, it's not because like just going down by itself, right? It means that most of the people are selling, which means that most people decided for themselves, like, that's the end. I'm fine with my profits. I'm leaving. If everyone would be like me, for example, in the market, then markets would probably just go up straight all the time, because no one would be selling. No one would be taking any profits, right? Understand the whole situation, which is very, very funny. But some people, they just need to take profits. They need to take the money. They need to be scared about their freedoms, about if they would have something tomorrow and things like that. Very, very interesting and very, very crazy as well. So to a certain extent, you should be following the herd as well, just to be safe on your end. So in my case, as mentioned, I would be taking profits probably around that levels, just to make sure that I would be safe if a different scenario would be playing out. But I think my scenario is the closest one to actually playing out in the real life. Let's see how well I'm navigating this simulation, right? Maybe I'm the creator of this simulation. Think about it. Last but not least, content for mid-curve guys, me as well. Cute dog mascot, I buy coins. So these are like your low IQ people that you all like to make fun of because they're buying meme coins, they're dumb and things like that, and yet often they're making way more money than 90% of the viewers of this channel, right? This is mid-curve people, so these are the largest amount of people that is in the marketplace currently. No, you need to analyze the fundamental Tarinos, right? So you need to read the white papers. You need to understand why this Ponzi with VCs dumping on you is actually unique, and how it's actually solving a real world problem that no one really had in the first place, right? And last, high IQ guys who are experienced on this marketplace, who are trading meme coins already because they know it's just whole space just vaporware. A rational analysis of irrational processes is bound to fail. And you know, you probably do not connect to one of these guys like fully, because I can say myself, I can admit my mistake that in connection to Solana memes, I am definitely mid-curved here, because I pretty much missed them. I was making fun of them most of the time. Right now we've just flipped Pepe. I don't think it's going to actually stay like this for a lot of time. But still, I have to admit that maybe on that side, I was wrong. And I'm still convinced that largest ROI activity on this market is actually to be trading live pairs for 14 hours a day. Just go on Coinbase, go on Solana chains, right? And just trade live pairs, shooters that are coming up every day. That's probably going to be the highest ROI activity. Obviously, if you're not just trading them, but if you are leaving moonbacks in the ones that are doing quite well. What's the idea of this thing as well? Is that this person actually thinks that he is smart. He's buying like technological projects with utility and things like that, but in reality, VCs are just dumping on them and nothing else is happening. And it's all just a vaporware, right? These are dumb people. These are retail, you would say. They might not be dumb, but they would not have knowledge of the market, knowledge of the space, investment, no knowledge as well. And some of them would be buying into the meme coins, into dog coins, right? Because last cycle, at the end of the last cycle, if you would ask like regular people with regular jobs, do you know about crypto? What do you actually hold? They would respond, yes, of course, I know about crypto. I hold Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. And that's the only thing they would actually have. Nothing else. Because no one cares about your paralyzed layer 2, layer 1s, layer 3s. Like, man, it's too complex, right? And this guy here, he understands that this person does not care. So he is positioning himself in advance for these people to actually buy from himself, right? And some of these guys, they may be playing this second mid-curve as well thing. So maybe some of them, they were buying Solana. Some of them, they might be buying AI, and they might be buying things like gaming, for example, as well, because they think that these mid-curve guys, they will be attracted to AI and gaming, not understanding that it's a meme sector. It's just a weaker meme sector than memes are themselves, right? Real world assets as well. I actually don't like the fundamentals of real world assets, because if something is based on the yield from a real world asset, what is the fundamental? Fundamental is based on yield from real world. I don't need your real world yield. I'm participating in Ponzi's. I'm buying pictures of the bears and frogs. I'm participating in Ponzi's. I don't need anything based on yield from real world. I will not be making money. I understand it's just a bunch of vaporware, and they're talking about real world assets, deeping, AI, gaming. These are all narratives for these mid-curve guys, right? Just to make sure that they will not look that awful. Just to make sure that, and like some of these guys, they would essentially be holding into the tokens, like very, very nice holders, like XRP guys. They're definitely like core of this group as well. I would say they may be in the middle of the mid curve and in the middle, and these dumb guys as well, because they think that they're smart, they're checking out XRP, they're reading the docs, and they're just getting dumped on by VCs and by the founders, and nothing else is happening. But XRP is an ultimate example, and we all can make fun of XRP, right? But you would not like to make fun from all of the AI, DePIN, real-world assets, gaming tokens that you actually hold in your portfolio, right? You would probably not like for someone to make fun of them, right? No worries. Next cycle, you would be buying meme coins right away, understanding that the whole thing is just a vaporware and they are the most performant assets. I want to go through categories. Real world assets. I heard some things about Ondo, but I'm definitely not an expert on this thing. We have Avalanche here, so I definitely have Wolf, which is my bet on Avalanche. And I think it's actually quite smart to be swapping your Avalanche into Wolf. Obviously, if Wolf won't be rugging, and if you can stomach the volatility, but you will be outperforming the shit out of Avalanche in the first place. Some people are screaming about Chainlink, so this is something you can actually think on from your end, right? So these people, well, Chainlink is actually something that's being used in smart contracts and a bunch of them, because you actually get information from real world through oracles to make sure that you can execute your smart contracts, right? So it might be a more interesting kind of attraction for these mid-curve guys that think that they know something, that this space is actually something. ICP is the same thing, right? Because it's for smarter guys, for engineers. They think that they actually understand things, that they're not getting dumped on by the VCs, right? Just check out the price of this garbage. $400 at the tops. It was pure VC dump. They just, it's like people telling you, oh, we're seeing $200. ICP this cycle, $300. And at $72, we would already have the market cap of 32 billion at 72 bucks, which was the market cap of this thing when it was launching, essentially. Crazy stuff. So yeah, as mentioned, I'm not the expert on real world assets, so I won't be focusing much on this thing. Identity, I think, is something connected to meme coins, right? Real estate, probably some things connected with real world assets as well. Cat meme coins. A lot of people are thinking that we will have cat meta because women will come into the market, and well, a lot of people might not like this, but I will still say this. I think it's true. And on average, statistically, women have less money than men. So it's up to you if you want to bet on these things, right? Blast ecosystem, very nice. ND to 1 billion, right? Base is doing quite well. You might say that this is something I actually missed as well. But I would say that from my end, I actually understood the thesis of Base a bit late. So I think Brad was in hundreds. So I think Brad was at hundreds of millions at that stage already. And Toshi was quite pumped too. So, and I'm not playing essentially this trading game with new meme coins. Maybe I'm wrong on these things. Maybe I would be making much more money if I would actually be playing that. I'm just not investing my time into this thing at this stage, right? Dogecoin, I have redo. I actually was thinking on closing my Dogecoin loan today and some of the loans that I have around layer 1s and layer 2s and put this money into Redo because I think it's corrected around 50% at this stage. And yeah, it's very nice leverage bet. Redo, I'm very confident in as well. Memes, we just had with Flip Pepe, but at the same time, you have to understand that main coin of Weave did 20x, main coin of Ethereum of Pepe did only 4x. So let's see what will be happening when Ethereum would essentially be going up as well. Music, I was sharing Gala music as well. In terms of some other things, yeah, so this is something I wanted to focus as well. DeSci, Decentralized Science. We have project called Data Lake that I like very much here. I was calling it at around 15-20 million. I was calling it at 25-10 million market cap. I think it might be a nice mid-curve narrative and chart looks beautifully. Right now we kind of see it breakout. No, we don't yet see the breakout of the trend, but still it looks quite nice in terms of us seeing the correction. I think that Data Lake might be a very interesting decentralized science project as well. I'm bullish on AVAX, I'm bullish on gaming. I think AI might be showing something as this whole narrative of AI as well. And in general, I think that closer to May we should probably see retail returning due to the fact that probably BTC will be larger. Probably we will be after all-time highs, previous all-time highs as well, and we will be around the news on the Ethereum ETF. And the same people who are planning to take profits on 120k Bitcoin, they're saying that Ethereum ETF won't be happening. Well, let's see on this. You know my position. I do think it's going to happen. I do think that we will have local peak euphoria at that time around approval of Ethereum ETF. I will be taking some profits after some time after that. Then what I think might be happening is a lot of people might actually start to take heavy profits because summer is, a bit slow. We are already at the top and things like that. And then market will fool every one of them and will force them to buy back higher and lose money. This is something that I think will be happening in upcoming several months. Let's see if it actually would turn into reality as well. Right, boys, let's gamble. By the way, there are a bunch of people who are filling out the form on Discord, but you're not eligible for giveaways because to be eligible for giveaways, you need to have at least $100 deposited, and you need to have them right now. You can deposit your $100, you can buy Pepe using this $100, but you need to have at least $100 worth of assets, right? And if you're not a referral, there is also no need to fill out the form because you would still not be eligible for giveaway. We have 232 people, generate 164, 82, 41, 41 times 4. Right here as well. Am I wrong actually? No, I'm not wrong. I am right, as usually, right? 166, 88, 44 times 4, right? Very interesting. Very interesting. You are the correct person to win. Congrats guys. 144, 12 squared, and since it's 12 squared, it also can be divided by 2, by 3, by 6, by all this good stuff. Second time winner, nice. Yeah, I remember we had you winning recently as well. Send 0, need to send 2 times. I'm also a bit late currently on my sending of the prizes, sending of the airdrops. Not the airdrops, initial airdrop, but sending money to people who reposted my post about the airdrop on Twitter. But it will all come in time. Well, very exciting times. We are closing March, first quarter. We are at the end of this volatility from all the funds, essentially trying to close the balance sheets and things like that. All the battles that we saw with Bitcoin swings in the last several days. It's going to be very, very bullish for us if we would be closing monthly candle in green. I think we will. I think we will be entering crazy bull run with crazy things happening after it. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will see you tomorrow as usually. Have a nice day. Bye bye.